What's up everyone, and welcome to another YuGiOh Duel video. So as you saw just now, we have two new things that just came to YuGiOh Duel. Well, not essentially new per se. Shay Obsidian is back with a rerun event, and he has brought with him two new raidraptor cards, plus a skill which we'll go into later on. But first, let's check out the structure deck real quick, because that is essentially one of the few things I am genuinely interested about. So it's called the Blazing Gearfried EX structure deck, and as its name suggests, the cover card is Immortal Phoenix Gearfried. So level 9 warrior type monster. Oh, and it's not a Gemini. So the original Phoenix Gearfried is a Gemini monster, but this new one, Immortal Phoenix Gearfried, is non-Gemini. But let's check out the effect real quick. Banish equip spell from the field or graveyard, spell summon this card from your hand. Wow, that's pretty nice. At the start of damage step, this card attacks, equip a face-up monster on the field with this card. Oh, so that means a monster, essentially any monsters from your opponent's side or your own side of the field. That's a pretty interesting effect. Not to mention it gains 500 attack points. Okay, 500 attack points, that's decent. And when monster effects are activated, quick effect send the equipped card you control to the graveyard. Any other equipped cards on the field, doesn't necessarily have to be Immortal Phoenix Gearfrieds, then you can negate the activation and destroy it. And it's a once per turn effect, so it's a pretty nifty one to say the least, and I kinda like it. With the special summon condition, plus equipping monster or monsters from either side of the field, so that's a pretty nice one to have. But although it's only one monster at a time, so that's a pretty one drawback, but overall it's a pretty good one to have. Next up we have Sublimation Knight, level 3 warrior type monster. This card is normal special summon. Equip fire, warrior, or Gemini from your hand or deck. Huh, that's a pretty interesting effect to have, I guess. And also plus, as per just like Phoenix Gearfried's effect, 500 bonus attack points while this card is destroyed by a card while equipped with a monster, Gemini monster most preferably. Special summon as many of those Gemini monsters that gain their effects, and you can use each of these effects once per turn. So essentially, if you were to use this effect, this card would be destroyed while having a Gemini monster being equipped to it. You can spell summon a Gemini monster from the graveyard onto the field, or any other Gemini monsters as well that's equipped to this card as an equipped spell, and essentially have a full field of Gemini monsters with their effects activated. This is a pretty good effect to have, not to say the least. Anyways, next up we have the third card, Phoenix Gearfried. Essentially, pretty much know what this effect already does, but the third new card of this entire set is Infernoble Knight Roland. Quick effect, target one face-up monster you control, equip this card from your hand to that target as an equipped spell. Okay, that's a pretty nice union kind of effect. Then during the end phase, it is in your graveyard because it will send at this turn, add a fire warrior monster except Infernoble Knight, or an equipped spell from your deck to your hand. So that's a nice floating effect there to add to your resources if this was sent to the graveyard. Whether it was a crypto monster or it was totally like MST to the graveyard just like that. Essentially, it's still a good card to have. It's a nice extender or floater if you want to think about it. And the next new card is called Gearfried. So as you can see from the screen right now, it is basically like a throwback to those old and very old school kind of RPG game where you can see the weapon systems, etc. So this most probably in reference to the Gearfried kind of thing, because Gearfried in the old days was like it uses all the equipped spells regardless, especially with the OG Gearfried after you use a release restraint part. Yeah, that's a pretty nice callback for it. But let's check out the effects. It's a continuous spell card. During your draw phase, instead of conducting your normal draw, add an equipped spell from your deck or graveyard to your hand instead. And if you control an equipped spell, you can place one Fire Warrior monster or one Gemini from your graveyard on the bottom of your deck to draw a bonus card. So not to mention, aside from getting to select what equipped spell you want to add to your hand, if you already have an equipped spell pre-existing on the field, you get to recycle a Gemini monster from the graveyard back to your deck to draw another card. Is it me or is that kind of broken, to be honest? But yeah, it's a really nifty effect. Essentially, it's a +2 if you think about it in the long run. But aside from that, all the other cards are pretty much the ones we already know, like Power Guardians and Soul Dragon Soul. So the ones I actually want to obtain is Gearfried as well as the Immortal Phoenix Gearfried. Although another bonus copy of Phoenix Gearfried won't hurt, because essentially I can add this to my Chemical deck to essentially have a much more playable or much more versatile playstyle. But aside from that, let's check out the event for Shay Obsidian. So this is a rerun event for Shay Obsidian. I actually covered the event exclusive cards already in my previous video. But let's check out what, I'm just gonna give a very quick briefing about it anyway. So mission added on the 15th of June. Set up the nest is essentially a skill that will be available during that time. You control 2 or more raidraptor monsters that have a level. Set a raidraptor nest once out of your deck onto the field. Okay, so that's a pretty nifty effect. I'll mention event exclusive sleeves as you can see, but if you've already done this in a previous event, then pretty much you already have that. Aside from that is Raidraptor Call, which essentially allows you to spell summon one monster of the same name of the Raidraptor that you control. While Raidraptor Avenge Vulture itself is a great combo extender, whenever you take damage, whether it's effect or battle damage, essentially special summon this card from your hand, and you can only special summon monsters from the extra deck that is a Raidraptor Xyz monster. So by using both of these cards' effects, you will be locked out from using any other cards that are not Raidraptors. But if you were to use a pure Raidraptor deck, then you will not have a problem with it with these 2 cards in your deck. Essentially, this card is a great combo extender for you to have, especially if you have Painlanius, which makes you take battle damage or effect damage to special summon this card. Then once you do take the damage, you can special summon your Raidraptor Avenge Vulture onto the field. So just like that, on that turn, you already have an instant two monsters to go into a rank 4 or 3 monsters to go into a rank 4 depending on what is the build and situation of your deck during that time. But essentially it's a great thing to have overall because you got to have much more Raidraptor playstyles and it's not just limited to, oh my gosh, my life points are short, only then I can use my Raidraptor monsters to do much more balancing, I guess. But aside from that, you can see the few episodes that are available currently. And as per usual, you gotta complete the first and second before proceeding to the next one to their corresponding dates. And as per usual, I do recommend you guys participate in this kind of events because you get to get your free gems, your free rewards, all the free stuff. And also past event cards like these will automatically become a prismatic copy. So if you want your prismatic and shiny cards to have to add to your deck, then this is the best time to do so right now. Especially with Raidraptor Revolution Falcon being a prismatic. And since I already have a prismatic, so this might be my second prismatic once I manage to obtain this card anyways. But aside from that, this is a great time for you to check out the event for yourself, and that's about it. There's actually a mini event called the Duel Capsule event where you get to play with balls. That's right, balls. And the card exclusive to these balls is the Passe. This card is already quite an old card to say the least. It was available in the YuGiOh GX era where Alexis Rhodes used this card. But aside from that, that's about it for the new things in YuGiOh Duel Links. Let me know in the comments right below in whether you think this event is kind of worth it or not. And not to mention, if you are in a rush sometimes, I do understand that my rate of speaking is quite slow. So I do recommend you watching my videos at 1.75 speed anyways. Since, yeah, that's about it. But aside from that, I wish you all a very good day. Have a great day, everyone, and I'll see you soon in the next upcoming update or whenever something new does pop up in your Duel Links. I'll see you soon. Goodbye, good night, and stay safe.